Welcome to Wholesale Hotline. I'm Brent Daniels.
I'm Jamil Damji.
And I'm Jerry Norton.
And I'm Pace Morby.
Every week we bring you the best information on real estate investing.
Be sure to participate in the comments.
And subscribe.
Wholesale Hotline!
Welcome to Wholesale Hotline, friends. I am Jamil Damji, and I am joined by no one. That's right. Nobody is with me today. It is just I. And we're going to have a good time today because we're going to tell some jokes. We're going to do some wholesale. You're going to ask me some questions, and I will do my best to answer all of your very pertinent questions in regards to wholesaling real estate investing, co-living, fixing and flipping, whatever it is that tickles your fancy. I will be happy to oblige. How's everybody doing today? I believe Brent Daniels is in Italy at the moment, feeding his wife cacio de pepe because it is their 10-year wedding anniversary. So let's all send some love out to Brent Daniels for the 10 years of love that him and Erin, his beautiful wife, have shared together. We love you, Brent, and the entire Wholesale Hotline family is sending you guys lots and lots and lots of spaghetti. Jerry is wrestling a pig at his farm today in Tennessee. I know this because I was sent a video of it, and I will not share the video because it is not flattering to Mr. Norton, but he is definitely doing that. And Pace is globetrotting, doing all the things, building one of the greatest communities, if not the greatest community for real estate investing of all time, doing the things. And so we're here. We are here, and I would love to be of service to you guys. So if you've got any questions, put them in the chat. I will be going down and just speed answering as many as I can. So let's get to it. Remember, guys, I'm an expert in wholesaling. I'm an expert in co-living, a few other things like dating really hot girls and having a really wonderful beard. I'm also an expert at those things as well. Okay, so let's see what is happening in the chat. So, hi, Peggy. Good to have you. Anas Muhammad said, just started my real estate journey last week. Your videos are making my life easier. Well, awesome, man. Happy that we are helpful to you. And let me know what type of real estate investing is drawing you. Which strategy or what style of real estate investing are you looking at getting started in? Would love to give you some advice. What else is here? Throw your questions in the chat, guys. Creative Talk said, I live in Idaho and I've considered doing co-living. PadSplit is not in Idaho yet. What do I suggest? Okay, so let's talk about this, right? Because PadSplit, people think that the model is called PadSplit. They've done a really good job of branding their company name as the model itself. The model is called co-living, right? And you did well here in calling it co-living and not calling it pad splitting. But yes, it's called co-living. PadSplit is a provider of property management services for co-living landlords. And I think PadSplit does a phenomenal job. In many markets, they have very low vacancy rates, and that's amazing. In some markets, they have no presence. And there's a couple of reasons why I believe that they don't have a big presence in those markets. And I think a lot of it has to do with demand, right? And so what I would ask is, it may not make sense for PadSplit to go in and invest a whole bunch of money in creating an entire new market. Because when they do that, they have to spend a lot of money on advertising. They got to staff that market. They've got to have boots on the ground in that market. Opening another market, and I know this because we opened markets as franchise prior to being a franchise company at Keegley. Before that, we had our own corporate stores. When we'd open up corporate stores, it was a grip of money every single time we'd have to do it. And so that becomes a limiting factor. And so when you've got resources, but you don't have unlimited resources, you pick and choose which markets are going to have the highest ROI to open up in. Doesn't mean that it's a bad market to operate in. It just probably doesn't mean that it's going to make sense for them to invest a whole bunch of money in infrastructure and building that market right now. So what does that do for you? A lot of people, they have the idea that, oh, if PadSplit's not there, I shouldn't be there. Well, let me ask you this. Is it a major metro? Is there a housing shortage in that market? If PadSplit's not there, guess what else is not there? Your competitors. There's no competition. And so I think that's actually a good thing. If PadSplit's not in your market, that means you've got a wide open lane, right? There's no other people that have a platform that are hosting their houses there. So here are the things that I would do if I'm you. Okay. One, I would make sure that you've got a population density greater than 100,000 at least. My gut and also what I've seen says that greater than 500,000 is a way better investment, but you can still operate great co-living and make a ton of money in markets that are 100,000 plus, right? So at least 100,000 people in the market. If there's not 100,000 people in the market, I wouldn't do it. I would also make sure that you have some interesting industry that is in the area. So what type of workforce is predominant in that specific market? And is that workforce looking for housing? There's a massive opportunity for workforce housing. And if you can work with some of the employers that may be bringing staff in from other areas or other states, that could be a real value add to that company and attracting talent. And also for you, because you'll have an incredible amount of volume to fill these places with coming from that specific workforce relationship, right? So I would do some research. Are there any big companies that are opening up manufacturing plants here? Manufacturing and blue collar plants are much more conducive to co-living than white collar head offices. I've had people reach out to me and say, oh, Jamil, this so-and-so company is going to open up a head office over here. Would this be a great market for co-living because of that? And I think head office is white collar. White collar means typically the people that are working there are going to be making $60, $70, $80, $100, $90,000 a year. These guys aren't probably going to live in co-living. They're going to have their own rental or they're going to have their own home. So that's not going to be your clientele. You want workforce housing. We're looking for blue collar, C and D demographic. Okay. So do that research, find out what workforce is there, and that will tell you if it's a good market for you to get started in. Again, a lack of PadSplit doesn't mean there's a lack of opportunity. It just means that there's potentially a lack of competition. Lastly, before I leave this topic, today, my sister and I, we just solidified a deal that we have with Mercy Health, which is in Phoenix, Arizona. And they have just taken all of our co-living homes that we have coming to the market in the next 90 days. And I wanted to tell you guys why this is important for you to think about. I don't have enough houses to fill. In fact, now I have a 90-day absorption rate. So in the next 90 days, I still won't have any additional units to provide. In addition to that, I have a 6-month wait list for just the general public who is interested in staying in my co-living homes. So I need you to understand how that is a really, really big sign that this is where the real estate market is going, right? Affordable housing and affordability and solving that problem is the real estate business for the next decade. And so whether you're doing creative finance, you're buying subject to, doing owner finance, whatever your strategy is, co-living should be the cash flow mechanism that you're using to justify those strategies. Okay. And if you guys have any questions about learning about how co-living works, happy to talk to you further. DM me on Instagram. Just, let me know you watched me on Wholesale Hotline. I also have a co-living community. If you decide you're going to be serious about this and want to become professional in this, I completely replaced my active income from wholesaling in 18 months in co-living. Think about that. I've done more wholesale deals and I've had the biggest operation when it comes to wholesaling, and I replaced my entire active income in 18 months in co-living. That's a big deal. All right, let's keep it going. So hopefully that helped you creative talk. I think it's a great thing, and I absolutely think that it's important for you to invest there. Oh, what's up, Rahima? My sister is watching. Say what's up to my sister. She's amazing. Guys, she just got her general contracting license. Let's give Rahima some love in the chat. She is now an official licensed general contractor. Not only is she licensed for for single family, she's also licensed for commercial. This woman went and got not only her residential general contracting license, but she got her commercial general contracting license. She's a boss. So what's up, Rahima? We're proud of you. May 1337. Nice profile picture, bro. It's a little scary. Hey, Jamil, I've heard people talk about releasing money early to a seller. Do you know how that usually works? Yeah, I sure do. So I imagine you're talking about a wholesale transaction, probably a seller who's in some type of distress, and they need some funds released to them to manage life in the process of this escrow happening. Now, have I done this before? Absolutely. Do I recommend doing it? If it's going to be helpful and if you have checked the boxes. Okay, what are the boxes? First and foremost, what you don't want to have is a situation where you loan enough money to somebody to get them out of their pickle and then they don't want to sell anymore, right? And so make sure that the amount that you're loaning them isn't so much that it just completely alleviates the problem, okay? Because that's not going to help you get the house. So just be mindful of that. The next thing that I would be paying attention to is the liens. Is there a clear title? Right? If there are a whole bunch of liens and things that are going to be very difficult to discharge on that property, then don't release any money because there's no money to be released. So make sure you get a title report and make sure you read that title report. If you don't know how to read a title report, call the title company and ask them to walk you through it. Say, explain to me what each of these lines mean on this title report so that I can understand if it makes sense for me to release any funds here. Now, you can also have them sign the deed prior to releasing funds. Why is this important? I have had a situation where I released funds to a seller early and they just decided after that they didn't want to sell the house anymore, to me at least. And we had a standoff after that, right? Because I had given them like $20,000. I'm like, what are you talking about? You don't want to sell it. You took 20 grand from me and now you don't want to sell this house? Like, that's not fair. That's a little bit of a scummy thing to do, right? And so be mindful, protect yourself, do due diligence. I'm not telling you that people are going to take advantage of you, but I'm also saying to you that there are some folks who may. And so it's important that you just check everything. Make sure that the title's clean, that how much you're buying the property for more than releases all of the liens. Have them sign the deed so that when the day of closing comes, they can't not sign, right? Because that's an important document for them to sign. So get all of that lined up first. Then I think it's totally okay to release the money. If it's going to make their life better, if it's going to help them move, then that's a kind thing to do. And I want you to remember that a lot of times the people that we end up working with when we're buying a house that has distressed condition or has a distressed situation attached to it, the people are vulnerable. They're going through a hard thing. So if you can be kind and helpful, that's the business. That's where you're truly going to have blessings come to you, because you're taking care of people and you're not taking advantage of them, right? So be that guy. Be the person who takes care of people and you'll be taken care of. That's my 2 cents. Do I do co-living outside of PadSplit? Kathleen asks. Kathleen, I don't use PadSplit for a single property. I don't need to. In fact, I'm not really a fan of their pricing model. I was a huge fan of PadSplit early days, because the way that they billed me made a lot of sense, right? And of course, they also helped me open my eyes to the world of co-living. And so I owe a debt of gratitude to PadSplit. And so I'm never going to come on here and talk smack. But here's the smack. The reality is that they changed their pricing model so that now they bill you on the first 10 days of an occupant stay. Now, think of this, right? If I'm only making money on the first 10 days that somebody comes and stays, what do I want more of? More money, right? Which means that I want more first 10 days. And what does that mean if an occupant comes and stays a long ass time in your property? Well, then I don't make money. And so does it make sense for me to fill your property with people who are going to stay long term, which is what you want as the landlord, because you get less turnover, less wear and tear, less gaps in money, less money that you're paying to the manager? Or do I want to have lots of turnover, right? If I'm making money because of lots of turnover, I want lots of turnover, and that's going to destroy your property. You're going to have lots of money being paid to PadSplit. And then what if they don't stay longer than 2 weeks and you're given 10 days of that to PadSplit? Now you got 4 days worth of rent, and then they put another person in, and then that happens again and again and again. Like, come on, right? That now you're just on a hamster wheel making money for PadSplit and not yourself. So we went off and made our own relationships. My sister has like spearheaded the most incredible funnel of occupants and co-living in Arizona that I've ever seen. We've got Banner Health, Mercy Care, we got Arrowette, there are so many nonprofits that are working with us right now for filling our units that I said we have built-in demand of over 6 months of demand built in right now. I can't make enough co-living homes to fill how many beds they're needing from us. So, yeah, that's why I don't use PadSplit in Phoenix. Am I glitching? I hope I'm not glitching. Can I start creative financing without a real estate license? Yeah, of course, Brandon. I mean, there's so many things in creative finance. Creative finance is a whole world of strategies, right? Owner finance is in creative finance. Lease options are in creative finance. There's just so many different ways to do creative finance that it's, of course, in fact, I truly think that having a real estate license and trying to understand creative finance at the same time is probably a mistake, because a lot of real estate agents don't understand how creative finance works, because what they're taught kind of contravenes how creative finance operates, right? So what I would say is understand the law, right? Know how the rules work, know how the law works so that you don't get yourself in any trouble. But so get a good real estate attorney, learn from a good mentor who understands how creative financing works. I'm not a big creative finance guy, but I've seen so many people do incredible things with creative finance. So I know that it is massively successful, and you can buy property with no money. You can make hundreds of thousands of dollars in profits. There are so many things that you can do leveraging creative finance, right? So figure out what the model is that you're looking to work in. What strategy are you going to go after? And then start squatting up with people in the comments. I mean, there are people here right now. Look, if you're in Subto, throw the deuces up in the chat. Let's show our friend here, Brandon Morales. Let's show Brandon Morales how Subto shows up. Every one of these guys, Brandon, is a creative finance rock star. They're in the Subto community. They want to help you. They want to connect with you. So I would absolutely make friends with these guys. And when the timing is right for you and it makes sense, join Subto. For real, like don't go at this alone. I have no dog in the fight in telling you that. I don't make money if you join Subto. Okay, but what I can say, I have seen how many people's lives have been changed as a result of it. Right? I've seen people, go from having nothing. Look at Maddie. Right? Maddie, the homeless woman that Pace helped get into her own co-living home. This woman went from living in a shelter to having her own co-living home in like under 6 months. That's the power that you're talking about. So, Brandon, I highly recommend you communicating with people in the chat, become known, start networking with folks. And then when the timing is right and it makes sense for you financially, get in the community, bro. Being around other like-minded people who are doing the same thing as you is the cheat code to faster success. All right. Anas said, wholesaling is what's drawing me. My mentor recommended Probate for good off-market deals. What do you think? Yeah, I think Probate is a phenomenal lead source. I'll give you a referral here on where you can go get a good probate list. It's called alltheleads.com. Alltheleads.com. I don't have an affiliate there. They don't pay me anything for shouting them out, but they're a great resource for finding probate leads. Now, the thing to know about probates, right, is that you're dealing with somebody who's gone through a familial hardship, right? They've lost a family member. So first and foremost, approach with dignity and make sure that you are acknowledging the hardship that these guys are going through as a result of having lost a family member. And not all probate leads are deals, right? If somebody left a fully remodeled, beautiful home, that's not going to be a wholesale opportunity. But if they left a property that has a tremendous amount of deferred maintenance and they haven't repaired it in 30 years, and maybe it hasn't been renovated or whatever, like it's seen better days. Okay, it's seen better days. Let's just leave it at that. I don't want to disparage anybody. So it's seen better days. Family member inherits this. Do you think that they want to live in there? No. Do you think they're going to want to have the time to renovate it and get top dollar for it? No. Should you present that as an option? Yes. It's always important to tell people the truth of the options that they have in front of them, right? So if they have an option to renovate and sell and make more money, I always lay that out. And I just explain to people like, hey, look, this is what I do, right? I'm going to go in, you're going to sell this to me at a price that's going to make sense for me as an investment. And what am I going to do? I'm going to risk. I'm going to go and I'm going to risk $100,000 and I'm going to fix this property up and I'm going to try to make a profit. And that's one of my strategies. That's how, and do I win all the time? No. Sometimes I get it wrong. Sometimes I don't renovate it the right way. Sometimes I choose the wrong colors. Sometimes I choose the wrong house and I lose money. And that's a fact. That's a fact in my fix and flip business. It happens. And I explain that to people. And, I say, look, this is, if you want to maximize the return that you're going to get on this house, you have to be willing to take a risk. If you're not willing to take a risk, then this is the number this thing trades at. And so that gives them the scope. It tells them what their options are. And 9 out of 10 times, they're going to choose the easiest option, which is just sell to you. They don't want to take the risk. They don't want to fix a house. They don't want to flip a house. They just want their money. But sharing the opportunities or sharing the scope of what is here, it's the right way to handle it, because now you've disclosed everything. Now they have all their options available to them, and now they get to choose. And if most people choose speed and convenience over maximum price, I'll give you an example. How many of you watching this right now have traded in a car? If you've traded in a car, tell me you've traded in a car. Now, I can pretty much guarantee that a lot of you have traded in cars, okay? Now, here's the thing. If you've traded in a car, then you have knowingly walked into a business and said, I am taking less. I'm taking less. Here's my keys. Pay me less. Why do you do it? Because it's convenient, it's fast, and it's a sure thing, right? That's what we do. That's what we do. We're speed and we're convenience. We're a sure thing. And so be a sure thing. That's the other part. All right. Hope that is helpful to you guys. These are fun. I like answering questions all by myself. Let's see. Let's see what else is happening here. Yeah, lots of people sharing love for you, Brent Daniels. Wanted to talk about first dog deal. Have faith, persistence, time investing, things not to do. Ganja Boy, maybe reword that so I understand the question, and I'm happy to chat about it. Megan says, do not get a real estate license. I'm on the fence, Megan. I don't think getting a real estate license is a bad idea. Straight up. I think it's actually pretty good. BT Cruiser says, if I'm just cold calling 10,000 numbers, pre-foreclosures, and vacants with equity, about 80 to 90% are dead and no answer. 2% of the numbers answer and 1% answer potential follow-up. How long for a deal? I mean, typically, BT, you're looking at a good 90 days going direct to seller, calling from a list like that. I would say at least 90 days. And you're going to need to make a lot of dials and a lot of follow-ups. Remember that most of the people that you're going to do business with, you're going to follow up with about 8 to 13 times. That's true. 8 to 13 times is how many times you're going to need to follow up with a seller and a real estate agent for that matter before it will produce a deal. So just keep that in mind. It's going to take you time. And if you're trying to rush it, you're going to give that energy off, right? This is a process. You got to plant seeds. And like anything that is good, it's going to take time. And so you just got to know that. You got to plant the seeds. You got to give it sun. You got to water it. You got to fertilize it. You got to water it again. And then you wait. You wait and wait and wait. And the farmer waits until, a sprout happens. And for you, the waiting is going to also include following up, right? That's like when the farmer waters the field, you're going to be watering your leads by following up with them. LVG Cruz, how do I put myself in a great position as a new wholesaler and pitch creative solutions like Subto, seller financing, and hybrid novations in a correct way? Because I know the structure work, but well, LVG, you missed a thing in what you said here. Who are you pitching to? Is my most prevalent question after reading that. Who's your target? Are you pitching homeowners? Are you pitching real estate agents? Who are we calling? So let me know that, LVG, and I'll answer that question for you. Option on Louisville, Kentucky real estate market, or opinion, I think you wanted to ask. That's where I live. Will we hold anything there? I think we are coming to Louisville. I'm not sure. Go to creativenationtour.com, I believe, creativenationtour.com, and that will give you our whole itinerary for the tour that's coming in like under a month. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. So that's starting here really soon. Kentucky is a great state. You know, it does have some positives and some negatives, right? And Kentucky, as it sits, is not like the most pop-in spot. Okay, I'm trying to say that in the best way I can. There's not a ton of demand, right? So it's a low appreciation, low demand market. And so you're not going to get a lot of opportunity to force appreciation or make fix and flip deals make sense there. They're not going to pencil out. Even fixing a house, the costs to renovate a home are going to make it worth way more than what it'll cost you, way more than what the ARV is. And so a lot of people don't fix and flip profitably in Louisville. So what do? They buy, they fix, they rent. High cash flow area, right? So you get great returns in a market like Louisville because the property values are pretty low and you can typically rent for, a decent amount. And so you're not going to get a lot of appreciation there. There's not going to be a lot of fix and flip buyers there, but there's going to be some great buy and hold buyers there. And so as a wholesaler, if that's what your plan is, just make sure that you are targeting the right group. You're not going to find fix and flip buyers. You're not going to find a ton of them, at least. It's going to be mainly cash flow. So understand the metrics. What are the buyers out there looking for? What are the cash on cash returns that are exciting for them? Does co-living work in Louisville, Kentucky? I know the answer to that, but go and research that. Go find out. Is it a good market for it? Is there a good demand for that? And that will help you in your communication with buyers. There's some great platforms out there to connect you to buyers. If you're looking to make some connections to buyers, send me a DM on Instagram and I can, send you to the right place to get a hold of some buyers. Real Estate George. I've started wholesaling land and I'm getting some leads, but I'm stuck on the details of closing the deal. Any recommendations of title companies in Florida? Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few title companies in Florida that are good. I can help you. Again, send me a DM, or also people in the chat. Can you help out Real Estate George with a title company in Florida? I'm sure some of you have a good referral for him. But here's the thing, right? You're getting stuck on the details of closing the deal. So outside of a title company, what specifics are you lost on? Like how the contracts work? How are you marketing? What's your process? And I can help you more once I know a little bit more. How do you vet a property management company to take care of it for you? Kathleen, oh my goodness. Reviews, talk to people, get out there, interview folks. Vetting vendors is so important. Like right now, I'm in the middle of a massive headache with a general contracting company. I'm not going to say their name right now, but I'm close. I'm super close to creating all kinds of problems for these guys. And the reality is that you never know. You never know who is going to be a total dirtbag out there, and some of them are going to do good business. And I did my best to vet. I checked references. I talked to those references. I recorded the conversations that we had with the references just in case something happened, and something happened. So you never really know. The best thing to do is just talk to a lot of people. 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 That's That is the best advice that I can give you, because again, you know, there's if you're going to invest money, these vendors, they make or break you. Like, how many people have I seen quit real estate investing because of a crappy contractor? More people have quit real estate investing because they get robbed from a contractor than because they didn't know what to do. Like, that's the reality of it, because that entire business model of general contracting, like, for the most part, is just full of scummy people, like legit rats for the most part. So you just got to be really, really on top of it. Now, property management, not as bad as general contracting, but it's bad. There are some bad managers. Make sure that they hold a real estate license. Like, one of the things my sister is a licensed real estate agent, and she's a general contractor. So when she has her property management company, she's by the book. But a lot of these guys out there are not by the book. So ask the questions. Who holds the license over there? What's the oversight? How often are your guys' books audited? Right? How do I make sure? How do I know that you're not going to screw me? Because property management companies will screw you. When I first started buying rentals in Phoenix, Arizona, the property management company that I hired were screwing us. They were keeping the cash. They were telling my tenants to pay them in cash, and then they were keeping the cash. And then when I asked them what's happening with this apartment, they're like, we can't find anybody for it. We're trying. Meanwhile, the thing had been rented for like 4 months, and they were paying cash to the property management company. They were just pocketing the money. So that happens. And it wasn't until I got my butt over to Phoenix, and I drove from LA, came to Phoenix, and looked at my property, started knocking on doors, and I'm like, there's somebody living in this thing. And I you know, tanked the whole scam. So that is another thing as well, right? Is that follow up, check. How did I find out that the general contractor was scummy? I hired them myself. I hired them for a project for a very important person to me, and they effed that up too. Ed Kearns, Jamil, co-living. How about shared rooms in a co-living setting? Co-living square? I think, Ed, I think what you're saying is double occupancy in co-living. And that's absolutely doable if you have the zoning ordinance at your city. So let me give you an example of what that means. You can Google how many unrelated people are allowed to live in a home in whatever county or city or area that you're in, to make sure that you're in accordance or following the statutes that allow, you know, that so that you're not breaking zoning you're not creating zoning violations, right? Because if my ordinance is 6 unrelated people, then I'm not putting more than 6 unrelated people in my home. I'm not going to break that rule, right? So another example is Glendale, Arizona. They don't have a maximum number of unrelated people. So could I put 2 people in a room in Glendale? Absolutely. So you want to make sure that you're in the ordinance. And if you are, then so be it, man. You're going to get less money per room, though. That's for sure. So right now, I'm on the high end, I'm getting like $285 a week per room in my homes here in Phoenix. That's on the high. But all of my houses are, you know, 1-to-1 bed bathroom ratio, right? So my rule of thumb is booties got cooties. Okay, booties got cooties. So I'm not putting multiple booties on a seat. So everyone gets their own bathroom, because I don't want to deal with any of that nonsense. And you know what happens when everyone gets their own bathroom? They don't leave. People don't leave. They're like, this place is awesome. These guys care about me. We also turn them into little micro communities, right? So like my co-living homes have gardens in the backyard. They grow mint and tomatoes, and the people cook in there, and they take care of each other. We create every month, we do a little get together for everybody where I'll, you know, do a breathwork session or a meditation with them. And we care about the people who live there. I bring in credit counselors, job placement training, just these little bits of help that create a community vibe, right? And then you make a little micro community in the home where everyone's taking care of each other. And that is what's going to create stability and just long-term cash flow. Anna asked, for someone new to wholesaling, what's the best way or program to automate direct-to-agent follow-up? Well, I used to have a platform that I highly promoted called Astro Blaster. We no longer are taking on any new clients. In fact, we've moved over strategically to go high level. I would suggest, Anna, that you either do one of two things, okay? Reach out to a guy named Nathan Harris. He's in the Astro community. He's built an AI bot that works with Go High Level, I believe. That would be a game changer for you. So reach out to Nathan Harris. You can find him on Facebook. He's a good dude. LVG said, agents, just try to shut down so quick and don't even give it a try. So LVG, that's a communication problem, my friend, because I have seen hundreds of agent calls where creative finance is discussed. And sure, you get shut down sometimes. But this is the real problem, okay? One of two things. Either you're not making enough calls and you're making a conclusion based off of a handful of calls. And so you've made 5 calls, and on 5 calls, everybody told you no and like shut it down right away. And so now in your head, you're like, agents 100, they all say no. That's not true. 5 agents said no. 5 agents didn't want to talk about it with you. And were you even good at talking about it? Right. So that's another thing to think about, right? A lot of times the reason why you're getting shut down from agents is because you suck at explaining it. And I'm saying this with as much kindness and love in my heart as possible. So like, check that, right? Make sure that your pitch is up to par, that you sound fluid, that you sound like you know what you're talking about, that you're not going to be like, you're just not, an elf on the shelf who just fell into the cart today and it's your first day at Christmas time. That was a really weird analogy. Anyways, you know what I'm saying? Don't be brand new. And if you're brand new, don't sound brand new, right? So test your pitch, talk to people, ask them, do some role playing. Say, hey, how do I sound on the phone? Do I sound like I don't know what the hell I'm talking about? Do I sound like I'm brand new? Because you're going to get a bad response if you do. So practice. That's why squatting up with people in the comment section, squatting up in the community like Subto, if you're doing creative finance, that's the cheat code. Because they do daily dials. They talk to each other. They role play with each other. They're making sure they're sharpening each other all the time so that when they hop on the phone, they sound good. Just my 2 cents. Samuel said, PadSplit is very popular in Vegas. Yes, they are. Quito Camille Music said, what is the current strategy for flipping in Arizona? I mean, fixing and flipping volume is down. Wholesaling is down, but we're still doing it. I'm not really doing flipping a ton here. I'm specifically working on co-living. That's my jam. That's where that's what I do. So, yeah. Should I self-manage? I would if I had the time, but I don't. So I don't. It's worth it for me to pay a property manager because I don't want to have to deal with toilets and, disputes and all the nonsense that tenants have. So that's totally up to you. Like, what's your threshold of BS that you can handle a day? If you got a high BS threshold capacity, sure, handle it, do it. You should self-manage everything then. If you have a low BS threshold, I wouldn't do it. Jelani, what's up, Jelani? How do you transfer home title from personal name to LLC and avoid due on sale clause? Jelani, I am not going to answer that question. I don't do that. I don't do title transfers and things. I think that would definitely be a Subto question. Unfortunately, Pace ain't here today, so that will be a question you could probably DM him on Instagram and ask, or talk to one of the many Subto people in the chat to help you out. Nick Kimes said, how do I come up with my search criteria for pulling lists? How do I evaluate the performance of that criteria? Okay. Well, Nick, I imagine, or I'm assuming the kind of lists that you're talking about are lists for direct to seller cold calling or texting or something of that nature, right? So I think that's what you're going after. You're going after direct to seller market. and you want to know what type of lists might have the best performance. For me, I don't do a lot of direct to seller. I've actually not done a ton of direct to seller in my career. For me, I've done over 7,000 wholesale deals in my career, and almost all of them have been exclusively with one of two avatars: real estate agents and wholesalers. Why do I do that? Because I do repeat business with people who are professionals in the business. Real estate agents are professionals, professional wholesalers are professionals, and so they will do multiple transactions a year. If I am professional and I do a good job when I'm working with them, they're going to want to do more business with me. So I choose to go where the relationship is more not transactional, but it's like a relational type of business, right? I don't like transactional relationships. And that's what I think going direct to seller is. You don't get to talk to a homeowner and buy two homes from them. Very rarely do they own more than one home. So you're going to spend a whole bunch of time building rapport, negotiating all the things. And then as soon as you buy the house, it's over. And you got to start all over again. And there's no rapport. There's no seeds planted for the next deal. Now, if after explaining that to you, you're still gung-ho about going direct seller, then this would be the favorite list that I've heard does really well. I think the empty nester list is a pretty good list. That's where you're looking at homes that are over 2,500 square feet, that are 2 stories, that are 4 beds or more, okay, and have had somebody leave the house. And so the empty nester list will have had somebody move to college, right? And so now you've got 2 parents living in a home that's too big for them. And especially if it has multiple levels, like 2-story, there may be a mobility thing coming up, right? And so there's a downsizing opportunity there. I love that list because it's a small list and it's got a lot of potential on it. So I would definitely do that. I think that you're going to get more hits on a list like that because it's highly specialized. So there's a lot of factors that are layered in on it. And that's going to be helpful for you in getting deals out of it. But it's a smaller list. And so you can't, put that in your dialer and hang on that all day. You're going to need to dial more numbers if you want to have a productive day. And so for me, I just like the high equity list. I think that a lot of people have had a bunch of success from the high equity list. I'm not a fan of going after pre-foreclosures. It's never been my jam. I just don't like dealing with people that are in vulnerable situations. It's not my cup of tea. Are there people who can help you out with pre-foreclosure? Sure. I think Caroline Kane is somebody that has a really good handle on going after pre-foreclosures. My understanding is she's really helpful to homeowners and she solves a lot of problems for them. And so that's why she's successful at it. I would look at some of her content and maybe reach out to her on Instagram and see if there's something that she could do to help you out. That's pre-foreclosures. The water shutoff list apparently is a really good one. That's where they've had their utilities turned off in the last little while. So maybe they're going through some financial hardship. Outside of that, tired landlord. So anyone who has served an eviction notice on a property. I like the tired landlord list for the reason that this is somebody who has had a problem tenant, right? And as a landlord, I have known when I'm like just up to my eyeballs in BS. And I've had it with a house. I've sold a house at a loss because I'm just tired of the house. I'm tired of the BS the house brings me. I'm tired of the people who lived there. I'm tired of the whole thing. And so I have sold my house, my own property, to a wholesaler before. Because imagine this: one of the top wholesalers in the country sold his house to a wholesaler because he was a tired landlord. I've done that. That's true. Go figure, right? I could have just sold my own property to a person on my own buyer's list, but I didn't. I sold it to a wholesaler who then resold it to a buyer, which was pretty funny when I saw the assignment fee. And hey, that's life. So hopefully that helped. Jim asked, Jamil, is it true wholesaling is hot, flipping is not, and vice versa? Oh, is wholesaling hot, flipping is not? Yeah, it's true. Flipping is risky and the market sucks. So don't do it. Boise, Idaho, 237 population. It's a great place. I would absolutely do co-living there. What up, Ben Power? Eli said, Jamil, I'm looking to invest in Subto deals, how do you make sure a deal makes sense? Well, it's your criteria. What are you looking to do? Are you looking to live in it? If it's a end user situation for you, then does it need to make sense? Probably not, because if it's like your home, your home doesn't need to make sense. That's just my belief. I think that where you put your family and where you put your head and all of that is important, and comfort is important, and location is important, and style is important, and all those things. And so I don't think of that when I'm looking at my primary residence. But if you're doing this for a rental strategy, then I would get really intentional about what my strategy is, and then I would look at whether or not it's going to cash flow. Now, a lot of property in today's market, they're having a hard time cash flowing. And so what you could do is try to find end users, right? So you could be seeing if end users would be interested in it. So that's somebody who's going to want to live in it. Because again, they're not necessarily interested in cash flow. They're interested in the house itself because they want to live there. Outside of that, I would definitely reach out to somebody in Subto. Also, like I said, it's a good idea to be in the Subto community if creative finance is your cup of tea and how you want to invest in real estate. So do that, and you will learn a tremendous amount of strategy on being able to underwrite creative deals to make sure that you're buying something that actually makes sense. You can buy bad deals, guys. Bad deals exist. So you want a friend. You want to make sure that you have people in the community take a look at what you're buying and give you their opinion and ask them if they would buy it, straight up. I've had people ask me my opinion on a deal, and I've given my opinion on a deal, and then they ask me, would you buy this? And I'm like, no. And they're like, thank you. Because that right there let them know that, yeah, even though this has upside, and even though I gave you the strategy that I would do, I'd also tell you I wouldn't do this deal. So I would absolutely deal with or connect with Subto community members, because they're going to tell you. They're going to tell you if it makes sense. And there's so many good opportunities available in that community that you will be, you'll have a good deal flow. You'll have a good opportunities finding you being in a community of almost 20,000 people. So that's my 2 cents on that. What up, DJ? In my area in the Pacific Northwest, I've been seeing wholesalers start buying creative finance deals and put them into trusts. Then the investor buys the trust. Thoughts on that? Yeah. That's just a way for them to be able to A, remain anonymous, and B, I think, avoid any shenanigans with the bank for a transfer. Again, not my deal type. I don't do these types of deals. And so I can't give you legal advice or tell you if that makes sense. But it sounds to me, DJ, like what that mechanism is about transferring ownership without, triggering a bank knowing that something happened. That's what I think the purpose of it is, but I couldn't be certain because I haven't done it. Looking forward to seeing us at Squad. Guys, did you know that the SquadUp tickets are available now? Did you know that SquadUp Summit is going to have 4,000 real estate investors that are going to be attending there? 4,000 wholesalers, 4,000 creative finance potential investors, 4,000 like-minded individuals doing the same thing you are doing. 4,000 of them, all in a matter of 4 days in Colorado in March. So if you haven't gotten your ticket, I'm going to put a link in the chat because I can today because I was given my link. So let me put it in my chat here so you guys can, because Pace isn't here today, and Pace gobbles up all the buyers. He gobbles up all the leads. I'm going to take these guys, Pace. They're mine. So you stay wherever you are right now and let me get them. So, but yeah, come to the SquadUp Summit, guys. It's going to be a phenomenal event. I'm so excited about it. I think, it's like it's like a family reunion. It's truly like a family reunion, and you deserve to be there. That's just my thought. Okay. So, where do I put this in the chat? I can't even put it in the chat. Hold on. I'm going to have to do it another way. Let's see. I'll go into the comments here. There we go. I just put a link in the chat, guys, and I'm going to pin it on my channel. So if you're not on my channel, then come to my channel and get your hands on a ticket for SquadUp Summit. 4,000 real estate investors in one room. And you guys know that we sell out every single year. And did you also know that we don't run a single ad to sell out every single year? That's how popular this event is. Like, there's people out right now in Las Vegas at the Bigger Pockets. I'm not going to say anything about Bigger Pockets. It's fine. SquadUp Summit's the bomb. Enough said. Okay, what else is there? Wow, you guys are asking some good questions. DJ asked, if you wholesale remotely from a state that has regulations, do you still have to follow the laws and regulations of the state even though you don't do business in it? Yes. Yes, you do, because you're trading in real estate that is governed under that state. So even if you're dialing in from the Bahamas, yeah, you got to follow the laws of the state, the regulations of the state. You can't skirt those. And don't skirt regulations. I mean, they're there because there's people haven't been doing it right? Because people are creating problems and doing it wrong, and trying to skirt a regulation by being remote and trying to hide like that. It's just more of the same nonsense that's making this business model become more and more of an endangered species. So, just follow the rules, man. Follow the rules, and we'll be able to do this for a long time. But if we keep having this attitude of F the rules, this business model is going to disappear in less than 2 years. And I don't know about you guys, but wholesaling changed my life. It's the reason why I have a life. It's the reason why I've been able to take care of my kid. It's the reason why I've been able to, take care of my family and retire my mother and have my sister have an incredible life and have nice cars and nice things and be able to send my kid to college if she decides to go to that scam. I'm super grateful for wholesaling, and I'm really saddened by the fact that people would do it wrong just to save time, or I don't, just follow the rules. Look at all the Subto people in the comments, guys. Look at that. There's a whole schwack of you guys in here. What up, Rebecca? Squad up with Rebecca, folks. Larry, what's up? I want to purpose build a co-living home. I have a new way of building for $37 a square foot before it finishes, not including land. Larry, interested in hearing about it? It sounds to me like it's too good to be true, and most things that are too good to be true are too good to be true. What up, Amy? Love you back. Brandon says, how can I start? I would love to join someone to be a mentor because I've never met anyone that has done these before. Brandon, you are in the right place, my friend. Chris Monroe, what's up, homie? We're going to be coming to St. Louis. I'll see you there. Probates are slow but profitable. We are finally closing one this week. I've been going on it since March. There we go. What up, Cherie? I'm going to see you here this upcoming week. We got a big owners club retreat happening in Scottsdale this weekend, so I'm super excited about that. Where do you put questions? In the chat, my friend. Put questions in the chat, and I'll answer them here. Syed Raza said, I failed on my first deal because I couldn't find a buyer for it. Would I suggest making a buyer's list before doing acquisitions? Is it smart, or should I keep looking for deals? Let me tell you what happened, Syed. You locked the deal up too high. Okay? You locked the deal up too high. So would finding more buyers be the thing, or would be understanding how to negotiate and underwriting be probably the best thing for you to do, right? Because if you locked up that deal at the right price, it would have sold. That's the God honest truth. I promise you. Right? So you don't want to find a better sucker. That's the whole idea of I didn't sell my deal, so I need to find more buyers, so I sell my deal. That's okay, well, your deal didn't sell. If you send it out to a bunch of people and a bunch of people were like, bro, no. That doesn't mean that you have a good deal, no one can see it. that means that you didn't have a deal and they all could see it. And so the only way that sells is if you find a sucker. And do you really want to sell a deal to a sucker who's going to just lose money and hate you in the future as a result? No, right? So underwrite, learn to know what a deal is. Like really get good at that. And also we're in a hard market right now. Like there's not a ton of buyers out there. There's not a lot of people that are like really overpaying for potential deals. So keep that in mind, right? That we're in a buyer's market right now. So your deals got to be even sweeter than they were last year. They've got to be really deeply discounted right now because the market is crap. So underwriting is probably more solid. Now, Syed, I will say this. Does it make sense for you to start talking to buyers and ask them where they need you to be? Like that would be a solution for you. What if you had talked to a buyer before you locked that deal up? And what if a buyer had said to you, hey, Syed, get this house for this amount of money and I'll buy it from you. Then you could have gone and negotiated that at a price below what he said he would buy it from you at and then wholesale the deal, right? That would be how I would approach this. I would be strategic, make some good connections with buyers, and then ask them if they'd be interested or if they'd be willing to give you buy numbers. You send them the address, they tell you where they would buy it at, you negotiate it, get it to them, and so on and so forth. I've got relationships like that with so many wholesalers. There are dozens of people that text me every single day. They send me an address, I send them a buy number, they send me a wholesale deal, I tell them what I take it at. I mean, I'm back and forth all day long, just, ping-ponging numbers to people. And every once in a while, one sticks, and there's a deal. Cyclops said, I'm looking to start bird dogging. Is there anyone here that can help me out? Looking for buy boxes or something else. Cyclops, did you happen to hang out in the bird dog challenge that Pace just did? There's thousands of people that you can connect to. I'm sure there's a whole schwack of them here in the chat right now that were there. I was also there for the bird dogging challenge. It was amazing. Definitely worth it if you are looking to learn how to do that strategy. Highly recommend. In fact, bird dogging is also the same concept of what I've taught for 6 years in Astro Flipping. Astro Flipping is essentially, co-wholesale, doing JV deals. And so, yeah, I think it's a great model. And this answers the next question who asked, Kevin said, Jamil, do we still have Astro Flipping? Yeah, we do. Astro Flipping is still around. I still do the coaching calls twice a week, but it is a closed community now. I am not taking on new members. So if you're looking to join a community to learn how to wholesale, Subto. Go to Subto, baby. But if you want to learn how to do co-living, then come back to me. Okay. What percentage of ARV am I seeing buyers at? Still 70%, Nathan? It depends on the market. And it depends on the market and it depends on the condition. So I would not rely on what you just said there. Cherie, I will be there on Thursday. I am talking at Matt Poachman's Mindset workshop. So I'll see you there, sweetheart. Are we going to get Bible study today? I don't know. No. I've made 50 offers. Joelle said I've made 50 offers on distressed properties on market at 60 to 65% of ARV in SoCal. I understand the amount of offers are a big factor to closing a deal besides number. Yeah, the amount of offers also, 50 offers is good, but that's about a week's worth of work, right? And so most people can get off about 10 offers a day. So that's good, right? That's a good start. Keep going. And just because you get rejected right out the gate, which I imagine happened to you, you probably got rejected on all of them or close to all of them. That doesn't mean it's no forever, right? The way I like to think about on-market deals, especially when they're overpriced, is think about it like a really long tennis game, okay? If you give them your initial offer, that's your first serve. And then when they reject that offer, that is the return of serve. Okay. Now the ball is still in play because the house hasn't sold yet, right? So if I call back in 2 weeks and I say, hey, you rejected my offer 2 weeks ago, but it seems that the house is still available. Do you think your seller would be interested in talking to me now? And if they say no, that's the next return. And then I call back in 2 weeks and I try again and I try again and I try again. The reality is it takes 8 to 13 touches before a deal actually comes to fruit. And so I got to follow up with this sucker 8 times minimum before this is going to become a deal for me. So how many times do you think the seller will have gotten an idea that they may be overpriced and that they're going to need to make a change? The truth is I want to be the guy that's there the day the seller makes the decision to reduce their price to a realistic number. And if someone is motivated to sell, they will have to do that at some point. Otherwise, they will not sell. So there's 2 types. There's a motivated seller and there's an unmotivated non-seller, okay? A motivated seller will lower their price until the market absorbs it. End of story. Now, if they start off 100 grand high, that doesn't mean that it's not absorbable. It just means it's going to take 100K in reductions in order for that house to trade. You want to be so persistent that you're standing right there the day that that seller reduces that price low enough for the trade to happen. That's what this game is about. That's what following up does, is it puts you in position when the timing is right. Make sense? Megan says Pace disagrees with the real estate license topic. Yeah, him and I don't agree on a lot of things, but that's the beauty of our friendship. We're polar opposites. Pace is one dude. I'm a different dude, right? But we disagree on a whole bunch of things and love the hell out of each other. That's totally fine. I think that it is an important thing to get a real estate license because of what's happening in the market. I really think that regulations are coming, and if they're not already in your state, they're coming to your state. And so sooner or later, you're going to need to be licensed. Number 2, having a license is a level up in the game. When you reach out to other real estate agents as a licensed agent, they immediately respect you more. I have tested this, right? You can call 50 agents and you can start your phone call with, hey, this is Jamil Damji from Keller Williams, or hey, this is Jamil Damji, I'm an investor. And Jamil Damji from Keller Williams will land out of 10 times. It'll land better 10 out of 10 times with a licensed agent. They just perk up when another agent calls them. They're more interested in hearing what I have to say when an agent is on the phone. So I think a real estate license is a good idea. I really do. Stephanie Lopez said, shout out from Austin. What's up? How would you tell a seller that if the property is not at appraised value plus 20 after a 5 to 10 year balloon? Thanks in advance. Stephanie, I'm so sorry. I have no idea what you're asking. Maybe let's rephrase it and try again. I'm really sorry. I'm not trying to clown you. I just don't know what happened. You missed words in there. How would you tell a seller that if the property is not at appraised value plus 20 after a 5 to 10 year balloon? I don't know. Jacob, man, Jamil, it's been a minute. You look great. Oh, thanks. Life's been treating you well? Yes, sir. I started back up in real estate investing, building from scratch, and I'm dealing with divorce. Man, I had to go through that too. Terrible. I'm sorry. It is heartbreaking. And, that's what a community is for. So reach out to people, lean on your friends. And here's a bit of advice. Okay. If you want your divorce to go well, remember that you loved that person for all those years. And so still love them. You don't have to be a jerk. You don't have to fight, right? My divorce ended, like, the reason why it is gone as smoothly as it's gone is because we love each other. We treat each other with love. We're kind to each other. We aren't here to take advantage or to screw anyone over. The romance left, but the love never did. So keep that there and try to just, have that attitude when dealing with the situation, and it'll resolve. That's the best advice I can give you. Beside the number of offers made, how else can I improve, or what skills can I improve on? Joel, I think that other than just consistency and volume of outreach and offers, one of the best ways to be successful is to sharpen your skills, right? Sharpen your communication skills. Like I hate to say this and sound like I'm gloating, but I'm really freaking good on the phone. You put me on a phone with a real estate agent, I talk the talk, I walk the walk. I know how to communicate. And I'm slick with it, and I'm to the point, and I get to the business immediately. I don't beat around the bush. I don't get hung up on ever by real estate agents because they never think I'm selling them something. Like, let me tell you this. If you're calling agents and more of them are like, who are you? What do you want? Why are you calling me? If that's the response you're getting when you introduce yourself, they think you're a salesperson. Okay? They think you're a scammer. They think you're out to get something from them. They don't think that you're there to do business. So then the tone that you're presenting doesn't align with the words you're saying. So one of the things that you can do, Joel, to get better is practice, role play, hear how you come off, tape your conversations and listen to them. What do professional athletes do every week after a game? They watch the tape. They see how they performed and they see where they messed up. And you can do the same thing. Listen to your calls. Hear how you dropped the ball, or hear how you spooked the agent, or hear how you spooked that seller. Listen to the point, like where the tone changed, where all the inflections were different, where they started to speed off to get off the phone. Like, where did you lose them? Right. And if you can't figure it out, give it to a friend. Like, again, I had a friend who had a conversation with an agent not too long ago, and she sent it to me and was like, hey, I had this agent. I was trying to do an owner finance deal, and it didn't go well. The agent thought I was, gave me crap, said I was being deceptive and all these things. And, I didn't like the way the call went. She taped the call and she sent it to me, and she said, can you give me feedback? And like, guys, right there, that is somebody that I can tell you is serious about their craft, right? Because she didn't want me to listen to it and then call her and tell her how good she was. She wanted honest feedback. So I gave her honest feedback, and she had a lot of things that she could have improved in the call, right? And so she took that criticism and learned from it and is out there doing better and adjusting and pivoting and making little pivots and little adjustments that will ultimately compound into a really successful person on the phones. So do that, right? Have the tape and then give it to somebody you trust. Like, ask them for their opinion and give it to somebody who will tell you the truth. Because there's a lot of people out there who will, like, they'll say, yeah, I'm happy to do this with you. I'll do this with you for sure. And then when you talk to them, they don't tell you the truth because they're too scared to tell you the truth. They don't want to be rude to you. It's not, you don't have to be rude and honest, right? I didn't say anything that was off-putting or rude to my friend when I was explaining to them what they could have done better, right? So do that and you will see you're going to improve so fast. It's going to be so good for you. It's such a really, really laser sharp way to become a killer in this business. But you need feedback, and you need honest feedback in order to do that. Cherie, you'd love to meet Rahima. I mean, she's going to be around this weekend, so hopefully you can. I still don't understand, Rodolfo, what you mean by Bible study. Like, is it because of the book here? This isn't a Bible. It's my journal. I'm trying to understand what you're talking about in Bible study. I'm a believer, but I'm not here to do a Bible study. I'm just here to talk to you about wholesaling. What is up? Yeah, Louisville is on the list. I'll see you there, 11/21 then. What's up? What types of loans are popular with investors? What are some fees and costs to be aware of, especially as a connector? Had one lender reaching to connect to buyers, where to find more lenders? Okay, Joel, it depends on the strategy, right? Like, are you talking about fix and flip? Are you talking about co-living? Are you talking about buy and hold? There's different types of loan products, different types of lenders for those types of things. So be a little bit more specific so I can help you more. Jenny, it's really sad that the coach robbed you. It's terrible. You know, it shouldn't happen. Just looking for more of these questions in the chat, guys. Bear with me. It's just me here. So, Rebecca said, looking to squad up in Phoenix. Guys, hang out with Rebecca. Say what's up if you're in Phoenix, Arizona, or doing business there. What's up, Ingrid? How you doing, love? How do you do it with management and logistics, all yourself or via third-party sites? Jacob, you didn't give me the full thought there. So how do I do it with management and logistics? Are you meaning like my property management? Like what specifically are we talking about? Which logistics, which management are you talking about? Help me just be a little bit more specific so I can answer the question specifically. Kathleen said, Jamil, with co-living. That's what I'm saying. See, she was like, Jamil, with co-living. Now I know what she's talking about and I can answer her question, hopefully. Jamil, with co-living, if the home has a garage and you don't want to turn it into rooms, what do you do with it? Would you offer storage for your tenants? Why don't you want to turn it into rooms? That just seems like silly to me because there's money in that. So I would turn it into rooms. I don't know what else to say. I guess you could make it storage, but I don't know. Like they're not going to pay you for storage. These people don't have a lot to store, right? Like that's like a reality. I've never had in the now over 20 co-living homes I own. I have never had somebody come and say, I need storage. It's never been a thing because they're not coming with a lot. They're like minimalists or they're coming from like a hard situation and they don't have a lot of things. So storage doesn't compute. I would use it as a room. I would turn the garage into a room and I would make money on that. You'd have monetizable space. Why wouldn't you make money from that square footage? It doesn't make sense to me. They also don't have cars, by the way. So keeping it a garage doesn't also make sense. That was another thing that I thought when I first got into co-living. I thought I'm going to need to have all my houses are going to need to have, enough parking for 6 people. And so when I first started, I used to buy homes that had like areas for parking. In fact, my first co-living home, it's so cute. The back, I like moved the backyard fence down because it had an alley. And then I created 6 parking stalls in the back. And there's never a car in those stalls, ever. Like 1 out of 6 people in a co-living home has access to a car. Access, doesn't own it, but has access to it. It's very rare. Very, very, very rare. Reading York Guy. I own some land. I would like to convert some shipping containers into small, tiny homes and rent them out. Do I think that's a good idea? Hell yeah. But where is the land that you own? Is there a demand for that land? Kind of Dr. Seuss to you there. But yeah, find out for real. Like, is there a demand there? Because you can put a tiny home or a container home on, like, to give you an example. I could put a container home in my backyard. Okay. And I guess I could rent it out. There's land there and there's demand. I'm in a popular city. And so, yeah, it would rent out. But what if I had like 2 acres in Tonopah? Okay, and if you're unfamiliar with what Tonopah is, you should be unfamiliar with it because no one should go there. It's on the west outskirts of Phoenix. It's not in Phoenix. It's outside of Phoenix. It's like 40 minutes west of Phoenix. Okay. No transit goes there. There's no amenities out there. There's no workforce out there. So would it make sense for me to put shipping containers on there and rent them out? No, because no one's going to rent them. No one's going to live there. So you need to tell me more about where this land is. Is it in a heavily densely populated area? And if it is, then absolutely. If it's not, then don't do it. Patrick said, I love your content. Well, we love you for watching it. Thank you, my man. Phil said, Joel, on market, pretty tough. Might do 70%. California's tough. Honestly, guys, I've seen some phenomenal deals be happening in SoCal. Don't let that stuff become calcified in your brain. Like, how many people have said Arizona is the hardest market to do deals in because every guru's there, every wholesale juggernaut's there? Yeah. And still, so many people do deals every day. I have the largest wholesale operation in the country operating over here, and there's still people doing deals every single day. So don't get this in your head that like it's hard. And just because one agent's like, what are you talking about? That's way too low. Okay. Next. Right? Next. It's the thinking of it's too hard. It's not going to work is the reason why nobody's doing the work. Okay. There's a handful of people that actually do this properly every day, and they put in the reps and they're consistent with it. And those are the people that are going to get paid. Hands down. Everyone else is just going to talk about it, and they're going to tell you how it's too hard. Would I recommend Vegas for co-living? Yes. Anyone that is wholesaling in Denver, get in touch with Terry Smith. There you go. What up, Sharon? Yes, I do have a sister with a high BS threshold. Very true. Get yourself one. What's up, Rahima? Say hi to Rahima. I think she's still in the chat. Not sure, though. What's up? Yes, what's up, Joel? I agree. Do some good business, and repeat business will happen. Amanda Meza, by the way, she's in the chat. She's a person from the Astro community. I've been talking to her for the last couple of days because she sent me a potential deal in Long Beach, and we were close to getting it, and I'm in backup right now on it, and I still might buy it. And Amanda does wholesale deals in SoCal all the time, and she has a really legit, awesome operation, so she can do it. She'll tell you that in California it's sure people say it's hard because it requires discipline, but she's disciplined and she kills it. So I would, if I'm you, I'd connect to Amanda because she knows what she's doing and she's dialed it in out there. I went to her for my deal. I want to buy a home in SoCal so I can give my soon to be new wife a house, right? So who did I call? I called her. I said, hey, I want to build my girl a new home. So wholesale me a house. And every time she finds something, she sends it to me. That's relationships, right? I want to buy something from her. I taught her this whole thing, and I'm going to do business with her. She's helping me right now. She's going to serve me up a deal. And I hope she knocks it out of the park on the assignment fee. I want her to smash it on that. I want her to make all kinds of money, right? Because that's what we do here. Harrison asked, hey, Jamil, why can't I wholesale a short sale? Oh, man. Well, wholesaling short sales is it's an interesting topic because it's not legal. Okay. Why isn't it legal? Because there's deed restrictions on most short sales when the short sale gets approved by the bank. Now, what does the deed restriction mean? It means that you can't transfer the title or the deed on that home for a certain amount of time once you buy it. So that means that you can't have a high frequency turnover or a flip, right? And so you can't wholesale that and still be in compliance with the deed restriction. And so if you wholesale the short sale that has a deed restriction on it, you've committed fraud. And have people been charged for that? You better believe it. In fact, if you go to my YouTube channel and you look up short sale jail, my video will pop up probably, and it'll tell you about a wholesaler I knew in Phoenix, Arizona, who wholesaled a short sale and got 17 years in jail for it. Yeah, because there are a lot of rules when it comes to, here's the thing, okay? Anything that has a government attached or a government-backed lending product on it is going to have government agencies involved in it, right? And so a lot of these loans, right, that are in short sale, they're FHA loans, which means it's a government-backed loan, right? And so they're going to have a whole schwack of rules attached to them in how that deal would be dispositioned or sold. And so you've got to follow those rules because it's a federal agency that has put those rules into play. So don't mess with them, right? So don't wholesale short sales. That is the fast way to get into trouble. You guys probably seen the news earlier in the year. A real estate investor who a lot of us know, the short sale queen, was arrested. And I'm not saying she was arrested because of wholesaling short sales. She was arrested for some other shenanigans. But like short sales, I don't F with them, man. I don't. There's just too much. There's too many things there. There's too many. It's a vulnerable person first and foremost, and they're protected class. So I don't like messing with foreclosures, and I don't like messing with short sales because they're vulnerable because of their financial situation, which opens them up to all kinds of protection, which means that you have to be like a party to all the protections that are there in place to protect that vulnerable class, right? And they should have those protections on there. But if you don't follow the rules of those protections, you're going to get nailed. So I don't mess with them because I don't want to have that hanging over me. That's just my 2 cents. Schwack is definitely my word for tonight. Yes, it is. Thank you, Ralph. Am I only answering questions from Zoom? No, I'm answering questions in the chat. I just am taking a long time doing it. I am sorry. Jay? Why is California hard to do business in? It's not. It's great to do business in. California is hard to rent properties in because it's a blue state and they just want everybody to live for free. And you can't get anyone out and you can't evict. But outside of that, it's cool. Rebecca is a cash buyer in Phoenix. What's up? What's up? Jamil, is there a city on the Creative Nation tour that I'm most excited about? Yes, I am. Yes, there is. There is a city that I am most excited about on the Creative Nation tour, and that is Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Yes. I'm most excited about going to my hometown, man. I grew up in Calgary, right? I spent, I don't know, the first 30 years of my life there. And so I'm just excited to take my homie there. Like Pace has never been to Calgary. So I think it's going to be fun showing him where I grew up. Like, hey, bro, that's the house I grew up in. Yeah, I beat a guy up right over here. I got beat up right over here. Like, you know, all the things. I'm going to show them where I went to elementary school, and we're going to have a meetup out there. And then we're going to go to Banff afterwards and enjoy the Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel. So I'm super excited about that. Like, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And there's such a big group of our community in Canada. And so that's also going to be really fun to hang out with them. So yeah, Calgary, Alberta is definitely the most excited place that's on the list of places to go to for a whole schwack of reasons. Sorry, I had to do it. Squad up, squad up. Yes, I'm so excited about Squad Up. There again, guys, is the link in the chat, squadupsummit.com. Get your tickets, man. Harrison, I answered your question. It's just too much there. Yeah, Bigger Pockets is salivating over Squad Up. I mean, why wouldn't they? Because they had a hard time selling 2,000 tickets, and we don't even have a hard time selling 4,000 tickets. What are you going to say about that, Bigger Pockets? Sorry. What's the hype around SquadUp Summit, Jay? It's just the biggest real estate event in the country. So that's the hype. What up, Maria? Renato, what's up, Renato? Waiting for a notary to get to my seller's house that I got from a foreclosure to do a pre-sign before closing on Friday. It's my first deal. Thank you, Wholesale Hotline, for all the knowledge. Let's go. Renato, well done, well done. Congratulations, man. I hope you killed it. I currently have 7 doors under a mortgage. Is it smarter to buy rentals in cash or leverage financing for long-term growth? Ooh, I wish Pace was here because he would have a different answer than I would. Actually, I have started getting loans on my rentals, only on my co-living ones though, because the amount of cash on cash return I get is exponential when I get financing on them. I have been the Dave Ramsey of Wholesale Hotline. I'll admit it. Okay. I'm the cash guy. I own things in cash. I don't like loans. I'm scared of loans because I went through the financial crisis in 2008. And so they worry me. I don't like having leverage. I don't like having owing payments. That's just me. That's my style. But that's it, because I have trauma from having gone through the financial crisis. On the other hand, my bro, he loves leverage, right? He makes tens of millions of dollars as a result of leverage. So it's really all about how you want to go about doing your business, man. It's like there's no one better way than the other. It's like, what is right for you? What will allow you to sleep at night better? What's your risk tolerance like? Do you want more returns? Do you want tax advantages? Like, Pace has way better tax strategies than I do because he has more leverage than I do, because he has more properties than I do. And so he's going to have a better tax position than me. And so he's going to pay less tax if he pays any tax at all. I pay taxes every year because I don't do enough. I don't have enough leverage under me. I don't have enough doors. And so I don't get all the accelerated depreciation. And so we've got, there's a give and take. It's never just always going to be one thing is the best. There's like positives to this, and it's going to have its drawbacks. And then there's positive to that, and then it's going to have its drawbacks. And you, as an investor, you've got to look at the whole field, and you got to make the decision on what's my tolerance, what makes the most sense for my lifestyle, my family, and how I want to live. And then do that. Chad said, my wife lost her career job 6 months ago. She had no luck in the job market. How can I convince her to try wholesale or bird dog since she has so much time? Oh, man. Chad, maybe get her to watch the show. Bring her here first. Like, see if she can get around the people and enjoy the folks, right? And maybe that'll spark her interest into wanting to learn more. What I can say, man, is okay. Here's an example. My ex-wife and I, right? I've been doing wholesaling since 2002. Okay. Think of this. I met my ex in 2008. So I'd been wholesaling like 6 years before I met her. I then, become the nation's largest wholesaler. I found Key Glee. She watches us build this whole thing. She's heard me on the phones all these times. She's seen the money coming in, all the stuff, right? Like she enjoyed a great lifestyle. We live in a mansion, all the things. And then when we finally split up a couple of years ago, she was like, Jamil, I want to try some new things. I want to, now that you and I aren't together, I want to think about active income strategies on how I can bring in some additional money. Although she's, got an incredible settlement in our divorce, it's still advisable to have active income, right? So she was like, I want to wholesale. And I had been the guy for all these years, 2 decades. At any time, she could have been like, hey, baby, can you help me wholesale? Or can you show me what you're doing here? But it wasn't until it became a priority for her. That's the reason why I'm telling you the story. Once it became a priority for her, she started killing it. I mean, she's doing 3-4 deals a month after month after month. She doesn't need me at all. She's got her life figured out. But it wasn't until it became a priority for her that it became a thing, right? So your wife has to see this as a priority for her, and then she'll get interested in it. Convincing her to do something, I don't think that works. Just, my opinion. I haven't seen, that's not in the owner's that's not in the owner's manual on how women work. Just saying. All right. Still here. Let me ask you guys, is that in the owner's manual? Or should a woman come to the idea herself? You can't convince you guys to just do things. Y'all got to figure it out on your own, and you have to come up with the whole thing on yourself, right? That's what I think you need to do. But holy crap, guys, I kept this sucker going for 90 odd minutes. 90 minutes all by myself. That was fun. I enjoyed it. It was a great day, and I hope you guys have a phenomenal week and all the good things. So Wholesale Hotline number 290. You guys are incredible. I love you guys. Have a beautiful day. Kick ass. Go make some deals. Go make some money and get your real estate license. See ya.